It's another holiday season, another period to spend with family, friends, and loved ones. Not just to eat a hot meal, but to enjoy some quality time together. One of the classic ways to do so is to sit down on the couch after a big meal and watch a great movie for all ages to enjoy. And one of those classics would be the first Toy Story by Disney and Pixar. Sorry about the out-sounding way of introducing it, but with the film turning 30 years next year, I thought it would be fun to be a little bit different with this one. But nearly 30 years sounds like a very long time, older than me, which means a lot of different ways to own it for yourself. Don't let the Disney Plus version be the easy way to watch it. Let's just see how many different home media versions there are of this classic. First off, we start our line from the fall of 1996, which yes, if the film came out in November of 95, people had to wait nearly a whole year before it finally came out to be bought in stores. Nowadays, we only have to wait a month, which is a debatable topic for another day. But back to it. We start off with the oldest format way to own the film, which is on Laserdisc, which honestly can pass for a vinyl in terms of its shape and size. Technically, this would be the first disc-based way to put films for home TVs, before the age of DVDs. Just look how huge this is. I'm grateful I was born in the right generation. Laserdisc is a format that is very unique, despite it being on a disc. It's not your traditional one where you could save directly on it. This one uses analog video signals. I don't quite know how to explain it, just kind of roll with me on this. However, it was actually better than its competitors when it comes to quality and audio, but it never caught on with the masses and it was always like the third choice of the big three, kind of how Xbox is for PlayStation and Nintendo. I want to say one of the big reasons is only half the movie is on one side, so you have to get out, flip the disc, and resume. This version is the letterbox version, meaning it's stretched out with black bars on the top and bottom of the picture, or widescreen in another way of speaking. The other side of it was the superior one, the original Toy Story on VHS, which if you don't know what VHS is, it's the film on magnetic tape to save the picture and audio of it, but be very careful. You put it in the wrong way or you just have a bad day with your VHS player, sadly, you lost it all. I still remember that old-fashioned way of entering in a tape and watching it on my small TV. The quality can be iffy at times depending on the condition of your tape, but the audio was always great. I still rather deal with tape skips than disc scratches in my opinion. Something about the color printing for this cover gives that flashback feel for myself. We move forward a couple months later where the upgraded versions of the VHS and Laserdisc editions came out, which were the deluxe editions. What makes it deluxe? Well, you get this nice packaging in a nice silver background with Woody and Buzz on the front of it. The Laserdisc now being a special CAV version, meaning it's a much more fancier quality. But the contents of these editions came with some real goodies. An art book for the film, a lenticular 3D poster of the film, and an extra copy, depending on your format, that comes with the making of the film, all with a certification of authenticity. Honestly, this would have been super cool to have back in those days, but the price point probably would have turned me off. Before we leave the 90s behind, we go to the year I was born in, when the last Laserdisc edition was released. This was the version that would fit the standard format of most TVs back then. The cover being the same as just promoting the widescreen aspect and now using Dolby Surround for this edition. I will give credit to the fact they made 3 different versions of the Laserdisc to give it the best possible chance before we move on to the next generation of home media. Because from there onward, it's the 21st century where it's time for new formats, new ways to showcase your films. But not quite just yet, as for one more time Disney came out with these gold classic collector edition VHS of some of their best films, which one was made for Toy Story. There was just another way to release it and celebrate the 5-year anniversary of the film in the year 2000. But you get these extra logos on the side of it, nothing more. I'm lucky to still have my copy of this after all this time. It's like an heirloom to my entire collection. But finally we get to the first DVD editions of the movie. First off was the Ultimate Toy Box edition, which was the first and only way you can get Toy Story 2 on DVD at the time. Like, that's crazy to think of. You couldn't even buy it for almost half a year later by itself. But anyways, this comes with the 2 movies on separate DVDs, and then the third disc was all the behind the scenes features for both films. Well, as much as they can fit for 2000 standards. Still, that 4080p format was huge back in the day. I do not like the color they chose here. It's too dark, it doesn't fit the colors for Woody and Buzz. Beginning of a new era, so you gotta learn from your mistakes. Then in March of 2001, you can get the individual version of Toy Story Now on DVD, using a gold version of the Ultimate Edition cover. THQ. Damn, that logo and animation was so loud back in the day. The first solo release was made for the new standard of widescreen TVs, and your special feature is just the movie. And Tin Toy, the short Pixar made that inspired Toy Story down the road. We were just not there yet to put special features on the base editions yet. Also, they released this weird Toy Story 2 pack which used the sequel poster, even the sequel logo, with just the pack logo added into it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some people got confused over this. It's just the 2 movies, nothing more than that. Far down the road, we hit 2005. The 10-year anniversary was here, which came out with the 10-year anniversary edition, which is, in my opinion, the definitive version of this film on DVD. Not only do you get the movie, but every single behind-the-scenes feature ever made for the film, and it came with all the Toy Story treats, which were like shorts that they played on the Disney Channel back then after the film came out to use up airtime. Getting this was such a big deal for me as a kid. It was like I had the entire film's world in the palm of my hand. Although, to be quite honest, for some reason, when I saw the 10th, I assumed this was Toy Story 10 for a second. But considering the rate they're going with the sequels now, maybe we will get there before I leave this life. Also, they made a PSP version of the film at the same time of this release. I kid you not, that it actually does exist. Like, wow. Then 5 more years later, for the 15th anniversary and the impending release of Toy Story 3, came the film's Blu-ray release. It upreses the films to 1080p and included 2 different editions. One traditional one that had just the base Blu-ray, and another one which included the Blu-ray and the DVD in a DVD case. We had that brief moment where we had the Blu-ray disc going in a DVD case. But it just sadly went downhill after that. It comes with new features which were made after the first film's making period, but it was still cool to get some exclusives on this version. Plus, at the time, it came with a special CD-ROM with more goodies to access on your computer, and in some copies, a free movie ticket for Toy Story 3. So many goodies. This was truly the golden and sadly final era for jam-packed DVD releases. But at least they made a new standard edition for anyone to be more cost-effective with the base movie and very bare special features. All of this just shy of the release of the then highly anticipated Toy Story 3. The following year saw even more milking the original. First with a Blu-ray 3D edition. Remember that brief experiment to bring 3D to home? Such a big push that was to normalize 3D, but it never did stay long enough. They're still out there, just not popular enough. Still, 4 discs included, but most of it's just the film again and again. But the slipcover was cool. Then there was a trilogy pack which was just meant to promote the 3D version of all the films. A few more years later, for the 20th anniversary, came a brand new standard Blu-ray edition which was just Woody's head for some weird reason. An odd choice for the cover. Another standard Blu-ray 3D edition printing was released the following year, sans the slipcover, all in the efforts to keep making money on the original film. We fast forward to 2019 where Disney began hardcore releasing their classics on the brand new 4K home media disc, which included Toy Story. The cover using the modern Woody and Buzz models with a white-purple background. They also made a Blu-ray version using this cover as well, all before the release of Toy Story 4. Then the big one came out, which was the Best Buy exclusive series of steelbooks, which they did for the MCU and also for almost all the Pixar films prior to 2017. Toy Story being more of an art drop of Woody and Buzz with the claw machine scene in the movie, with the Luxo ball on the back cover. Surprisingly, the Toy Story ones for the steelbook series were not expensive after the original release. Still cost affordable, thankful for the high stock for a classic. Ironically enough, overseas, Mondo released their own steelbook with a much more, I don't know what the right word is for this, the art style they used was much different for this one. It works, but it feels a bit weird. I know the company is known for doing different things, but this was just really out there for them. In 2021, Toy Story was packaged into the 4-pack with all the movies on both DVD and Blu-ray, just to own them all in one single case. Then finally for 2023 for the Disney 100 series was a new Blu-ray version which reuses the Woody model with now a basic silver backdrop with the 100 logo. And then the most recent way you can own this film was part of the massive Disney 100th collection series, which was 100 classic movies in this giant package. Yeah, no, I'm just not even gonna get close with this because of the price tag alone. It is cool, yes, but is it worth all that dough? Heck no. Well, that took longer than I expected. But I just love how generational hopping this film was and how many different types of collectors can own this for themselves. I hope I didn't jump the gun to do it this year just before the 30th. I mean, what else can they do by this point? Anyway, this is Joe here from the Collection Compass. Let me know down below which one of these do you own for your own collections. I would love to hear it. Until next time, please stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.